Hello and welcome to another video. It's OT19 or Ultimate Gamer 19,000, and today I'm not here to explain some rogue subclass. Today I'm actually here to build a high elf wizard for a player mod. Soon I'm going to be running an in real life D&D session, and I am playing with new players, and they've both requested me to make they both wanted to build characters, and since they're new, I was like, can I just build your character for you, but record it, put it on YouTube so you guys can watch the videos? And they both said yes. So, here we are. Today I'm going to be making a half-elf wizard. This is going to be a little bit more of an explanatory video, so then the person who's building this can learn. So we are going to be putting a plus into intelligence, because as a wizard, intelligence is your main spellcasting modifier. So your intelligence wants to be good. So now, as a high elf, we do get some cool abilities. First, we get Fey Ancestry. You have advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and you can't be put to sleep to magic. And also, elves don't need to sleep. 4 hours a day, you can go into a trance-like state and get a long rest instead of sleeping for 8 hours. Also, elves get dark vision. It allows you to see in the dark. And for the sub-race, we'll just be picking high elf, because that's the most basic. Now for our plus one, we'll be picking Constitution, because Constitution is very important. So it's good that we have a good Constitution. Now for language, we'll be putting Celestial for say. Well, you know what? We'll put Draconic, because that's important. We do get an extra cantrip from the Wizard class, which I'll explain later. Now we have the Wizard. The Wizard is a mainly spellcasting class that is the weakest class hit points wise, but some would argue is probably one of the best classes. Now they do get some skill proficiencies, and not for this Wizard. I think it's important if you have something like History and Investigation. Well, I'd say Arcana and Investigation, because those two stats both scale off of Intelligence, and since you're going to have a good Intelligence, these stats are going to be really good. So you should focus and specialize in these two stats. Now as a wizard, you do get cantrips. Basically, cantrips are kind of mini spells. They're like spells, but a little worse, but you can use as many as you want. Now, wizards do have a spell book. Now, with a spell book basically allows you as a wizard to copy spells into them. So, as a wizard, you can copy a bunch of spells into your spell book. So, if you were to find a spell scroll, you could copy it, and now it would be on your spell book. So, you could use it anytime. Now, they do get ritual casting. Basically, some spells allow you to cast a spell without using a spell slot. I'll get into spell slots later. And arcane recovery. Let me read it out. You have learned to regain some of your magical energy by studying your spellbook. Once per day, when you finish a short rest, you can choose expended spell slots to recover. The spell slots can have a combined level that is equal or less than half your wizard level, rounded up, and the spell slots can be 6 level or higher. Example: if you're a 4th level wizard, you can recover up to 2 levels worth of spell slots. You can recover either a 2nd level spot or 2 1st level slots. Basically, it just lets you regain spell slots. So I think at level 1 you can regain 1 spell slot. So it's basically allowing the wizard to have more spell slots, so then they can cast spells more often, not have to worry about, oh, I might. Now for intelligence, that will be our highest stat, so we will be putting a 17 into it. For our constitution, that will be a 15. Wizards still need to be strong, so we'll be putting an 8 in strength. Wizards aren't usually very charismatic, so that'll go there. And for our dexterity, we'll make it a 13, so that, dexterity is very important for dodging fireballs or hailstorms. And a 12 wisdom, because wisdom in general is just a very good stat. Now for our background, these really don't matter. But, we'll just put charlatan. Yeah, whatever, we'll just put that. Yeah, I usually skip all that. Now for equipment as a wizard, you do get your spellbook, either quarterstaff or dagger. We'll be picking quarterstaff. And then you can get a compound punch or arcane focus. And we'll pick arcane focus. And then we can get either scholars or explorers pack. We'll just pick explorers. For charlatan, we can get some dice. Now for spells, these are the really important stuff. As a half-elf, we do get an extra cantrip. So for our extra cantrip as a half-elf, there are many different cantrips. Now the main one you're probably going to be using is Firebolt. Firebolt is your main blasting cantrip. It does a 1d10 damage, but you have to roll to hit. Yeah, overall just a solid cantrip. It scales with damage on levels. Now, some other cantrips that may be useful are Mode Earth. Mode Earth lets you basically earthbend. Minor Illusion, well, it allows you to create a minor illusion. And then finally, Mage Hand. Mage Hand is basically a shot, like a hand you can create from your magic that is like allowed to pick stuff up, like far away. It's basically a far away you can pick stuff up. Now for spells, wizards get a lot of spells, but the most important ones, in my opinion, I would be picking. First, we want Absorb Elements. Basically, Absorb Elements lets you take half damage of any elemental spell. So ice, fire, thunder. If that's coming near you, you can absorb it and then dish it out some extra damage. Another good spell, I would say, is Chromatic Orb. Chromatic Orb is basically Firebolt, but a whole lot stronger. So Chromatic Orb is a really good spell for blasting. The next one is Shield. Shield allows you to add a +5 to your armor class. And wizards usually have a really low armor class, so being able to get a +5 can make something hit you to not hit you. But to help out your armor class even more, we have not Magic Missile, Mage Armor. We have Mage Armor. Mage Armor basically gives you a 13 plus your Dexterity modifier for free. All you have to do is cast a spell. This is a very strong spell because you can just get yourself a really good armor class. Now for our last spell, we do want some nice AoE. So, in my opinion, we'll be picking Burning Hands. Burning Hands basically is everyone around you, everyone in a certain location makes a Dexterity saving throw. If they fail, they'll be taking some main damage. This is really good area and AoE damage. And finally, a little spell that I think may be really good is Disguise Self. Disguise Self basically allows you to disguise yourself with someone else. This spell can be really good for tricking or infiltrating. Now for feats, elves do not get any feats off the bat, but since this is a campaign that is not meant for 2 players, all my players will be getting an extra feat based on their race. So, let me take a sip of water. So we will be starting the campaign at level 1, but we probably will get past level 1, so I will be taking this build all the way until level 6. So now at level 2, we can pick an arcane tradition. And this person wanted an evocation wizard. Basically, evocations are just, they be chucking spells. So yeah, and now if you want to copy a spell into your spell book, it's easier, it's cheaper, and takes less time. Next, we have Scoped Spells, your second level feature. Beginning at second level, you can create pockets of relative safety with the effects of your invocation spells. When you cast an invocation spell that affects other creatures that you can see, you can choose a number of them equal to 1 plus the spell's level. The chosen creatures automatically succeed on their saving throws against the spell, and they take no damage if that would have normally taken half damage. Basically, this allows you to do some really cool fancy explosion, but not have to worry about other players getting hit by it. Because yes, your AoE spells can and will hurt your teammates if you're not careful. But this ability allows that to not happen. So that ability is very strong. Now, for now at level 1, we can pick out our spells. We do seem to learn an extra 2 spells, so that's very nice. So some extra other good spells. Magic Missile will always be a good one. Magic Missile, if you don't know what it does, it basically allows you to do 3 shots, I think, that will always hit your opponent, no matter what, they will always hit. But they do relatively low damage, but since the fact that they always hit, it's pretty damn good. Next we have Featherfall. What Featherfall does is basically, if you're jumping off a high distance or off a clock tower, per se, you could soften your landing and float down safely. So yeah. I did forget to mention this. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but for most of your turns, for as level 1, you probably will be casting Chromatic Orb or Burning Hands for your main damage. and you be casting shield, mage armor, and absorb elements. And when the situation matters. Now, for the when you are out of spell slots, you probably most likely will just be chucking fire bolts. It's a D10 damage. It's pretty good. It's basically like a long sword attack. So, and it's range, so it's pretty strong. Next, finally, we get to level 3. And at level 3, wizards get cantrip formulas. You have scribed a set of arcane formulas in your spellbook that you can use to formulate a cantrip in your mind. When you finish a long rest and consult those formulas in your spellbook, you can replace one of your cantrips for another cantrip. So now, at level 3, we get second level spells. So each spell has levels. So now at second level, you get a whole new list of a bunch of other strong spells. But now, since you also have second level spells, you can upcast a first level spell. Upcasting a first level spell basically just makes it stronger. So now some really good spells that I would recommend are definitely invisibility. I mean, just being able to turn invisible. But granted, you can turn invisible, but it does not mean you can't attack someone while invisible. As soon as you attack them, your invisibility will just fall and drop. So keep that in mind. Shatter is also a really good spell in my opinion, and I think, no, not okay. Shatter is a good spell to pick, but since we are playing a high elf, we'll be picking Scorching Rays. Scorching Rays is basically Firebolt, but a whole lot stronger. Yeah. Scorching Rays basically Firebolt's baby daddy, or brother, I guess you could say. And now we have level 4. Level 4, wizards get nothing, but we do get a feat. Now, for level 4, there are a lot of feats that we can pick from, but the one we will pick here is something called Fate Touched. Now, what is Fate Touch? Let me explain it. Fate Touch basically allows you to increase one of your ability scores by 1, so we'll be increasing our intelligence to 20. And now for our spell list, we can pick any of these cool spells. Now, the ones I personally recommend that I think are good would be a Bless. Yeah, Bless basically allows you to just boost up everyone around you and make everyone a lot stronger. Also, you get Misty Step, which Misty Step, if I'm not wrong, is a free teleport that just allows you to teleport somewhere. Very strong, very powerful, and very good. Now we do get an extra spell, so we will just be picking. Ooh, okay, we'll be picking Hold Person. Oh, yeah, two. We'll be picking Hold Person and Shatter. Now, basically, Shatter is your Burning Hands, but just upgraded. It does more damage, and also it's a Constitution signature, which is a little worse, but it will destroy any walls. So if an enemy is hiding behind a wall, you cast Shatter, that wall will be destroyed. Or if you're trying to break down the big door, again, the wall will be destroyed. Now, Hold Person basically lets you stun someone, so you can keep someone in place, and it will grant everyone in your party advantage on beating them up. So if you can land a Hold Person, you can basically just completely immobilize an enemy. So now we'll be getting the 5th level. Make sure to drink water. Wizards get nothing, but at 5th level, we do get 3rd level spells. So we get some new spells to play with. Now at 3rd level, there is one spell we will definitely be taking, which I feel like every wizard takes. Fireball. Fireball allows you to, well, create a massive fireball that does a ton of damage, and now since you have your invocation ability, you can protect your enemies from the fireball damage. Another one that I think is pretty darn good is there's actually a lot. Is Counterspell. With Counterspell basically is someone were to cast magic against you, you would make their magic just not work if it's the same level. So Counterspell and Fireball are two amazing spells to pick. And then finally, we are 6th level. Now, there's a chance we don't reach 6th level in the first session, but if we do, here it is. Oh, okay, my bad. oh, we get potent cantrip. Basically, some cantrips allow creatures to take saving throws to do damage. Now, if they would succeed on a saving throw before, they would take no damage. But now, if they do succeed on a saving throw, they'll take half damage from cantrips. Which Firebolt doesn't need a saving throw; it's just an attack roll, so you don't really have to worry about that. But it's still very useful. We can add 2 new spells. I feel like the spell Fly could get a lot of use, but with Fly you can't use it every round for something I will mention later. And then finally, we'll be picking up Ice Knife. Ice Knife is a really good spell. Basically, you throw out a dagger made of ice and it explodes. It hits the target, then explodes, hitting everyone around them. So yeah, it's a pretty damn strong spell and can actually do a lot of really strong AoE damage. Um, so overall, I think it's a good spell. But make sure to not use that one near your allies because they will get hit by it too. So now, boom, your character's now been completed. So now to get some rules explained. In D&D, there's something called a concentration, which 2 spells of yours need concentration. Fly and Hold Person. And I also think invisibility also needs concentration. Yeah, it does. Concentration, basically, what it is you can concentration is basically you're focusing on a spell. You can only focus on one spell at a time, and for say if you were to get stabbed while you have Hold Person active, you would have to make something called a concentration check, which is a Constitution saving throw. And if you fail that, your spell ends early. But if you succeed, your spell is still up and you're still using it. Now, while you're concentrating on a spell, you can't use another concentration spell, or you can end the one you were using to cast a new one. But yeah, that's how to play an Evocation Wizard. I hope that everyone enjoyed this video, and I hope the person who actually is going to use this character enjoys it. But yeah, that's all for me, OT19, signing out. Peace!